आइए। हाँ।
आइडियली या तो जितना मैक्सिमम खाना करें उतना रिसेप्शन तक पहुंचे रिसेप्शन तक और फिर एक्चुअली ऐसे करेंगे यार पिक्चर चलाइए रे जहाँ तक तुम्हारा वहाँ जाइए मैं खड़ा हो जाऊँ फिर लौट के इधर से आई बीच में क्या करते दिखाते दिखाते ना ये करते हैं ना मैं मार देना मैक्सिमम जैसा हुआ वहाँ जाइए और तुम्हें अल्लाह भी रखना ओपनिंग में मुल्क वहाँ करा रजिस्टर रिकॉर्डिंग करी
रूम रूम में भी जाएगी मैं।
हाँ बट अगर तुम सब रूम मान लो तुम फार्मेसी तक पहुंच गया तुम फार्मेसी के पहले ही खड़ा रहे कि तुम आगे वहाँ करना वहाँ करना वहाँ करना वहाँ करना वहाँ से पीछे आया लगना
हाँ
वो करे एक इंस्ट्रक्शन होना चाहिए बस
वो टाइम
हाँ और जो टाइम अगर तुम्हारा लाइव नहीं चली बस तुम वो जन हम लोगो भेजा लोगो चढ़ा देना प्लीज हाँ तो फिर बता देना कि वो लोगो रख देना सबके जाने के लाइक वेटिंग है या कुछ है अच्छा कट है ये अपन कैमरा वाइट पे छोड़ से तो तुम रन करेगा टेबल एडजस्ट कर देना
तो यहाँ से सीधा जाएगा।
पर और फुल कर दिया
हम ये फॉलो पीछे करते जाए कि साइड से
तुम जाना हम करेंगे
से
अभी फिलहाल के लिए साइन है मेडिकल से हम
पकड़ के चल गई। अभी छोड़ेगी कि अभी खा भी ऐसे?
Janin Garbhadama, Twamajasi Garbhadama.
Let's pray for God's blessing. Let us pray. Father, please bless this meeting in order to provide activities for our people in the community that will promote growth, development, relaxation and enjoyment. Please provide all the wisdom, finance and resource that we need. We ask you, Father, to provide adequate funding, competent, professional, and skilled laborers. Please give us favor with the surrounding communities and the nation. Father, stir up faith in us so that we will walk by faith, not by sight, and give to this mission. Lord, so God is the greatness, the power, the glory, the victory, and the majesty. Everything in the heavens and the earth is yours. This is your kingdom. We adore you as the one who is above all things. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you.
6 months पहले आए थे आप आए थे पूजा के लिए। देखो पूजा के बाद अभी देरी हो गई। इधर होता है ऐसा तो बहुत स्लो है इधर का, बहुत फास्ट स्लो। दो चाहिए, एक वाली दो, एक मानव प्रेम, साथ में पॉजिटिव outpatient later. Doctor.
Yajamo Ganesham Saramo Ganesham Smaramo Ganesham Jatramo Ganesham Jayamo Ganesham Vadamo Ganesham Namamo Ganesham Namamo Ganesham.
Your responsibility, that is why I'm telling you. It has to come up with a world-class pediatric cardiac center for Fiji and all the countries of this Pacific, South Pacific. All these little island countries, this should be the hub. This should be the most important world-class pediatric cardiac care center. That should be the future. You are saying not ready, not ready. Beautiful. See, they put all the pictures of important people. Sometimes they put your picture also. hands that have only a two hands that way. You want your photo? If you want your photo, you have to do a lot of seva, photo service. It's a 6 months, 6 months in the evening. అంతే భూమి ఉండేది మనం పూజ చేయడానికి ఇదంతా 6 months లోపల పెట్టేసి బాగా లైట్స్ అంతా వేసారు. వెరీ గుడ్ వర్క్. ఎయిర్ కండిషన్ కూడా పెట్టారు.
The government gives us supplies.
Yes.
So we can
We take all this with us and go to our
forms. Description, registration form.
we have these forms, but we'll have it on the computer.
We'll have it on computer.
Enter inside. This is the vision of this center. It has to be most important pediatric cardiac center. So in this Fiji as well as all the neighboring island countries. He's the pharmacist.
We met the pharmacist. She set up pharmacy.
She set up the pharmacy.
Yes.
He's pharmacist.
The my two sons.
How are you? You see how nice the center is? Very good. I have to see a center like the outside. Nigeria, they have a very large center. Nigeria, but not, but it's not started.
Actually, they are from Australia.
They're all from Australia. Israel is quality. Good colors. तो ये तुम्हारा खाना आ गया तुम्हारा
अभी 3 महीना और बच गया हो जाएगा
पहले से बेटर
जी
धीरे धीरे धीरे
जी
very sorry for coming. Yes, I know. In coming to Bombay, to start join Bombay is a new initiative. That's also training. Australia. Look at Australia.
Come.
You should take a picture.
Yeah, come forward. Come forward. Okay, look here. Very good. One more. Excellent.
You look like sisters. आगे तो
ઉપરલા સેન્ટા માંગે આવે હે નહીં Record stop ni kan lah.
Om Sai Ram. Swami, I offer my loving pranams at your divine lotus feet. Swami, on behalf of all your children in Fiji, I welcome you to our beautiful island. Dear devotees, my name is Sathya and I am 9 years old, and I will be your MC for today. Swami has brought with him very beautiful people who have become like my family. It is my pleasure to introduce them to you once again. Firstly, our dearest, sweetest, most beautiful Swami is sitting on his majestic throne. Sitting next to Swami is Uncle Narasimhamurthy. Swami continues to make him build schools and now a university, and thousands of children are getting free education. Please give him a big round of applause. Next is Uncle Srinivas. Swami continues to make him build hospitals, and these hospitals are healing sick hearts of thousands and thousands of children. Dearest Uncle, I am so happy that you have sent your team of doctors to Fiji to give a new gift of life to so many children. Please give him a big round of applause. Next is Uncle Isaac Tigert. He is the amazing man who sold the world's biggest restaurant chain to build Swami's first hospital in Puttaparthi. Swami has now given him the big task of publishing all of Swami's discourses, and he is doing so many books. Please give him a big round of applause. Okay, now I'm going to introduce my most favorite uncle, Uncle Madhu. Uncle Madhu is that amazing person who is giving us the bliss of being able to experience Swami. We are so lucky that Swami has given us the bestest person ever. You will all have to give a huge round of applause for Uncle Madhu. Swami has brought many international guests with him, including another favorite of mine, Auntie Bhuvana. I welcome you all to Fiji. Please give them all a very big round of applause. I also want to introduce my grandfather and daddy too. I love them both very much, and Swami is making them work very hard. To tell you the truth, this is the longest my dad has been in Fiji, but I haven't really seen him. He has been busy building this medical center for Swami. Dear devotees, today is the 24th of April. Today is a day of great significance for all devotees of Swami around the world, when everyone remembers Swami. But for us today here in Fiji, it is a day of celebration, the inauguration of the Sri Sathya Sanjeevani Medical Center. I have been seeing this building for the last 3 months, and it's a miracle of Swami. And everyone is saying this is the best building in the whole of Fiji, and it has to be because it belongs to Swami. Fiji is no longer an island. It is now officially Fiji's island. Swami, I want to make a promise to you that we will do all that we can to keep you happy, and I pray that you keep us happy. Before I conclude, it is my... Oh no. Swami, I want to sing a song for you today on this occasion. We love you, Swami. We love you. When I am down and oh my soul so weary, when troubles come and my heart burden be, then I am still and wait here in the silence until you come and sit a while with me. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. There is no life without my sigh. Each restless heart beats so imperfectly. But when you come and I am filled with wonder, sometimes I think I glimpse eternity. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me
चमके नयन दमके मन अहो भाग्य है ये हमारे हर्षित है मन ये लगता सपन बाबा फीजी पधारे हैं हर्षित है तन ये लगता सपन बाबा फीजी पधारे स्वागतम सुस्वागतम स्वागतम भगवान स्वागतम सुस्वागतम स्वागतम जन्म जन्म के भाग्य उजाले जीवन सफल बाबा बनाए स्वामी अपनी शरण में ले लो भक्ति शक्ति मुक्ति दे दो भक्ति शक्ति मुक्ति दे दो कुछ ऐसे बाबा स्वयं अब आए हमरी द्वारी हो पाके पल ये कैसी पहल बाबा फीजी पधारे है हर्षित तन ये लगता सपन बाबा फीजी पधारे हैं हर्षित तन ये लगता सपन बाबा फीजी पधारे शुक्रिया 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 भगवान शुक्रिया 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 भगवान we love you dearest Lord we love you we love you dearest son we love you Om Shri Sai Ram. Om Shri Sai Ram. With love, humility and reverence, I offer myself at the divine lotus feet of Parabrahma Swarupa, Shiva Shakti Swarupa, Satyanarayan Swarupa, Bhagwan Shri Satya Sai Baba. My pranams to all our dear elders. My pranams to my dearest mother and father.
loving side arms to all of you. There are some moments in life which are far more memorable than others. There are some days which makes us realize the purpose of our existence on our journey on earth. Today is one such day. Today is a day where God has decided to take a nation into His palm and caress its children with love. Dear devotees, last year, during the public satsang, I mentioned in my talk that Bhagavan, Sri Sathya Sai Baba, is here to lay a platform of goodness. Today, this platform of goodness has developed into a center of goodness, a permanent monument and an expression of His love for the people of Fiji. Dear devotees, when God makes a declaration that He will undertake a task and complete it and open it on a certain day, nothing stops His will. Nothing. No cyclone, no hurricane, no storm, no rain. Nothing stops His will. When He gave me the responsibility to become an instrument to develop this medical center, I'll be very honest, I was very taken aback by the incredibly short time frame. In Fiji, a construction of this sort, a construction like this medical center, takes a minimum of 12 months. So what you see here before your eyes is not a building. It's not a medical center either. It's a miracle. Pure miracle of Sai. Dear devotees, in late December, Fiji faced torrential rains. Torrential rains. There was flooding in low-lying areas. The western and the northern parts of Fiji were flooded. Every hope of starting this project was dashed. I lost hope. I stood on that very ground, sobbing, looking up at the thick dark clouds and the rain falling on my face. I even lifted my phone to take a photograph so I could send to Swami as to what Fiji was facing. After the photograph, I even vented my frustrations at the heavens. But just then, in amongst these so many weeks of thick dark clouds, the clouds parted above this medical center. And a bright ray of sunshine shone through the broken column upon this very land. This was a reassurance that He was in complete control. And by the way, I took a photo of that as well. It's something that I can write in a book about how this medical center was built. It was 18th of January. I stood here along with my father, the trustees of the foundation and members of the foundation, on an empty land, 18th of January. My thoughts were focused completely on one thing. One thought. Rain, hail, cyclone, hurricane, storm. We have to build this medical center as per Swami's command. But along with this solid determination, I have to say, there was a sense of insecurity. How on earth in Fiji can we complete this task in 3 months? Dear devotees, like I said earlier, if he wills it, he makes it happen. 13 weeks later, after we stood on this ground, on this empty land, the miracle of Sai stands here. Ladies and gentlemen, dear devotees, it is not possible to build this in Fiji in this time frame. I can say with the absolute surety that this is the fastest building constructed in the history of Fiji. But to do this, Swami sent 3 wise men. I want to introduce these 3 wise men to you. The first is Mr. David Jones, our project manager. David Jones has been an absolute pillar of strength for us, and he has guided us in the most magnificent manner. And the project would not have materialized without him. I would like Mr. David Jones to come on stage to receive a small token of appreciation from Swami. Please give me a big round of applause. Thank you, Mr. Jones. The second of these 3 wise men is our builder, Mr. Andrew Golding. We call him Andy. Andrew Golding is his full name. Andy is a supreme craftsman who built this building, and above all, his faith in Lord Jesus Christ has been an incredible source of strength for all of us. I remember when we had rains and we had these dark clouds. He came on this land, he said to me, he said, "He who watches the clouds achieves nothing." I remember the statement, Andy, and that's been a pillar of strength for us. Thank you so much. Please welcome Mr. Andrew Golding. Thank you, Andy. Finally, Mr. Ross Cullen, who's just had to go back because of a emergency at home. But I'll still talk about Mr. Ross Cullen. Ross Cullen involved into the project as literally our project foreman. And he has been the linchpin, putting together all the contractors and subcontractors to get this building finished. Swami, in December, Ross suffered a heart attack. But 3 weeks after coming out of hospital, he entered the front entrance and literally he walked out this morning, Swami. He has been absolutely incredible. He will come on Friday for the function, and we have the token for him. I'll have Swami to bless that. Swami, these 3 gentlemen were the reason behind this center manifesting today, Swami. I also really want to thank the chairman and trustees of the Sai Prema Foundation for their sacrifice and dedication towards making this project a reality. I want to thank all the members of our executive committee, Swami, the members of Sai Prema Foundation, for their contribution. Swami, many individuals have come forward. When this project started last year, dear devotees, when Swami did the Bhumi Puja, Swami said, many, many people will come. And that is exactly what happened. Many people came in various different ways to help us out, Swami. We offer our heartfelt gratitude to all of them. I also want to thank the devotees from New Zealand. Please give a very big round of applause. They have supported this project in an incredible manner. Last year, Swami in September told them that you must become a part of Fiji, and Swami, they really have. They have also adopted this project as their own, and they have really contributed in a wonderful manner. And even yesterday evening, they were all helping to have the center ready for you, Swami. They've been wonderful. There's one person, Swami, who would like to thank, perhaps, who deserves all the accolades. Swami, this boy who survived cancer. Dedicated his every breath of his life over the past 3 months towards this project. He and I have had 13 weeks of no sleep. And I can say I'm very honored to have a younger brother like him. He truly lives, eats, and breathes the true meaning of Sai. He's a true servant. And Fiji is very lucky to have a son like Rimal Tapu. So please give Rimal, where are you? Come, son. Yes, sir. Thank you, Swami. Dear devotees, I can tell you from my experience that when you say yes to Swami and when you surrender to him, it is the most beautiful experience. I can truly vouch for this, that he uses you in ways that he wants to use you, not in ways that we want to serve him through. When we surrender, he makes you the flute the way he wants to play it. In these last 3 months, I've had to learn skills of being an architect, engineer, a builder, interior designer, a weatherman as well. I can tell you I failed in every single one of these roles. But that didn't matter. Because at the end of the day, it is he who decides. It is he who does. It is he who receives. Karta Sai, Karan Sai, Bhavasagar ke Taran Sai. I stand here today and I can tell you 108%, whilst we've all come on stage, this building was built by nobody else but God himself. I'm so grateful to you, Swami, for all that you have done for the people of Fiji and for all that you're doing for the people of this world. No amount of thank yous and gratitude is enough, Swami. But thank you, and we love you. Jai Sai Ram. Swami has commanded our dear uncle Srinivas to address us.
Most revered and dearest Swami, the distinguished members of Sai Foundation here in Fiji, not just men of wisdom, but men of the hour and men of action, three distinguished gentlemen who stood with you through thick and thin, through more cloud and less sun. Kudos and salutations to you three great men. What does one say in moments like this when they say an ounce of action is far more precious than a ton of words? But all of us here have witnessed a ton of action from what one has heard and has been hearing in the last few days, given the geography, given the weather conditions that prevail in this part of the world. Sumit, you were right and completely right when you defined this as a miracle. A miracle is a word we hear this, and this gets enormous importance when it is attributed as a miracle of the divine. If there is one word that gets connoted to the divine, it is a miracle. But the beauty of this moment to us is where God chooses us to become that miracle. A miracle is life. A miracle is lived by example. That we, in our feeble inadequacies, could have become instruments of a miracle that truly signifies the touch of the divine. What could have happened in the last 3 months, as it's been told to us, it is hard to fathom, but just to get a glimpse, it could be no different from the height of a war zone. It could be no different from a situation where there seems to be no way out but success, definiteness of purpose was an inevitability. It is with Swami that we all know an impossibility ends up becoming an inevitability. That is the uniqueness of Swami. But the learning that we all take home, dear Swami, is that with your touch, we become the miracle. Much is waiting to be done. If for a moment we think that we have come and made this beginning, I'm sure all of us know deep within our hearts we have hardly begun. Because when Swami uses us as a miracle, there is so much more that is waiting to be done and needs to be done. That we can outperform, we can outdo ourselves, we can surprise ourselves is indeed the miracle of our lives. Never before, I'm sure, Mahendraji or his lovely, dear, lovely family and the distinguished three gentlemen would have imagined this must have been the shock of their lives to have turned this around. That is the beauty of the divine's touch. Yes, what we see in God's great world is limited, but what he knows and wishes of this great world is far beyond our comprehension. Never in our wildest imagination or dream, I must confess and confide in all of you, when a few surgeons and a few medical team members came here in response to Swami's will, when he made us think of doing some surgeries on children here, in our wildest imagination, we never knew it could head this way. That is the beauty of God's work. I do know I have some distinguished members of medical teams from different parts that come here, but you would agree with me
No team ends up coming and setting up a hospital here. No team comes here to set up in selfless love and selfless service, in total wishing for the best of a country's children and no, the region's children. To give the best of yourself, as is written in all those beautiful sayings, is the miracle of our life. Today, if that little seed is growing into what we see here, I can see the wonderful tidings that await Fiji. It is taking all of us by surprise. It will take, and it seems, the government of the day by surprise, the people of Fiji as a surprise. The child truly, as it was said by the poet, is the father of man. When you touch a child, it's by the act of tending the heart of the child, you're not just biologically saving a life. That is very superficial. It is the seed of the divine that you're sprouting in that child, because you, as Sumit says, have created that platform of goodness which will grow into a life of gratitude. When you bring life to a child and its family, you are showing gratitude. What makes this world really go around is the power of gratitude. Each and every one of us sitting here has somewhere, at some point in life, at some place, by somebody, been touched by his kindness or his affection or his mercy. That is the way life progresses. Life sustains, nourishes, furthers, and grows by love. It can make miracles happen as biological they may be, as dear Rimal. It could be in what could be construed and to face the harsh reality of a dreadful disease, but that could become small change of God Almighty. Yes, Sumit, on behalf of all of us here, we endorse that you have, amongst many, a living miracle in Rimal. For a boy who was challenged to face, as some of us are familiar with medical terms, and the trauma that one undergoes when you're faced with whatever you face as a critical illness, to wade over that, to rise above that, to transcend all kinds of barriers, psychological, biological, medical, and then emerge not a man, but a superman that you surprise normal men and women. That indeed is the miracle of Sanjeevani. That is what is going to happen. Biological, medical cure of hearts is something that we will do, and that will happen. But what will happen to those children? What will happen to those families? What will happen to the society that we live in, wherein we suddenly are awakened to a new reality that we live by love, by giving, by sharing, and doing our best for somebody who's truly made and created in God's own image. That is the message of Sanjeevani. That is Sanjeevani, which derives its name from the great elixir that Lord Hanuman brought for Lakshmana. Today truly is a momentous day. It gives us no end of joy to see what has been created. But more importantly, Swami, along with everybody, we are here at your feet in your service for the love of this world and the future of this world in the form of children. We are up to the game, and we have this wonderful team that you have put together. And as you beautifully say, what you see is limited, but be sure what you do not see, but I do know, is unlimited. So we are aware that we have access to this unlimited power which our eyes cannot see, but yes, to a small extent, our hearts are beginning to feel. May all glory, the kind of which we even cannot imagine, dear Mahendraji, when your great father came sailing on a ship onto the shores of Fiji, I wonder, and I'm quite sure wherever he is looking down now upon this happening here on the sacred day of April 24th, must be so fulfilled. His vision, his mission, his dream of setting forth to touch this sacred land of Fiji, and now to see his families, his direct sons, his continued family do something must have been and is the most beautiful ever to have happened to any family that has left the shores of the country. God bless and all the very best to you, sir. Be sure you are not alone because Swami is with you, but in smaller measure, we are all there as that little band that supported Hanuman when he went about God's work of the divine. God bless and Sai Ram.
Tell him what we are going to do in the next 18 months. Tell, introduce. Tell what we are going to do in the next 6, 12 and 18 months.
Swami has commanded Dr. Ashish Kateva, who is the head pediatric cardiac surgeon in the Raipur hospital. He is also the director of the Sri Sathya Sai Sanjeevani hospital in Raipur. And he led an incredible team of doctors and medical staff to operate on the children of Fiji just over the past fortnight, where 27 children were saved by Dr. Ashish and his team. Please welcome Dr. Ashish Kateva.
Saram, my humble pranams at the lotus feet of the Divine Baba, who is inspiration for us to do what we are doing. This is a great beginning, but it is just a beginning. What we'll be doing, or will be, what can we achieve by end of 18 months? Now it is 18 months. Till yesterday, it was two years. So as you can see the land behind you, that is where the hospital, the first pediatric cardiac center in South Pacific is going to come. This will be the center of excellence in pediatric cardiac sciences. Will be serving not only the children of Fiji, but also children born in these hundreds and thousands of islands scattered in South Pacific. It is only logical that it should be in Fiji, Fiji being one of the most developed countries in South Pacific. Not as developed as it can be, but it'll get there. It doesn't make sense smaller islands like Vanuatu or Samoa to have or sustain a pediatric cardiac program. Currently, the entire population, children of South Pacific with congenital heart disease have nowhere to go but maybe to developed countries like Australia or New Zealand. But very few can afford the treatment there. It's a great treatment, but it comes at a very high cost. So the answer to their problem is that Fiji should have its own pediatric cardiac program, and Fiji should not try to replicate the programs in the West because it is not going to be sustainable. They should what emulate is probably a hospital in Raipur in India where the cost of surgery has been kept down for it to be sustainable and affordable for all. The mandate is to provide this care, which is very resource intensive at free of cost. That is a non-negotiable mandate. All the children from South Pacific and Fiji would be treated at free of cost, but someone will have to bear the cost. And to sustain that model, we'll have to emulate a developing country model like India and not the West. That is what we'll have to understand and start to follow from now on. Okay, so there's a timeline which starts from day one. The countdown has begun from today. And there's already a team which has been assembled, and may that team grow, may the tribe grow, because we'll need more and more people to realize this humongous project. Within 6 months, this center would be up and running. There'll be multiple outpatient services available here. Diabetes, which is a major problem in the country related to, again, diet and lifestyle, would be one of the most important specialty here. Will be supported by services in the specialties of dermatology, nutrition and dietary, ophthalmology, and gynecology and obstetrics, outpatient. And 6 months is when we are going to set all these departments up under the guidance of Dr. Krupali, who's been designated as the director of this medical center. And during this 6 months, we'll also plan, approach the various aid agencies, US aid. Our friends from the United States are going to be instrumental in helping set up this hospital. I would imagine the Sai Prima Foundation is going to bring the building up, and various aid agencies would equip the building, because it's, as I said, it's a very resource-intensive specialty. You need very expensive equipments to set up a pediatric cardiac service department here. So 1/3 of the cost would be the building. The another 1/3 would be the equipping this building, which has to be supported by various aid agencies. So work has to start in that direction. Feelers have to be sent. People have to be gotten on board to do that. And most importantly, then once the building is ready and the equipments are there, then to arrange for the manpower. Sai Sanjeevani hospitals in Raipur would be happy to support. We already offered to the War Memorial Hospital that we'll have a shadow team here. We can host that team in India and train them, so that when the center is ready, they can come and start their own work. Of course, we'll be hand-holding them. Surgeons from India and Sean from the United States would be coming and helping set up this program. But what is going to be sustainable is that doctors, surgeons, cardiologists, nurses, anesthetists from Fiji, trained elsewhere maybe, should in the end took the mantle of running this service. And that should happen. The first surgery should happen, or would happen, or will happen, has to happen on the 24th of, okay, no date, okay. Some relief there. So in November 2019 is when the first surgery would be done in the heart center here. By your humble servant. Thank you so much.
Om Shri Sai Ram. As we pray to Bhagwan to grant his message on this very auspicious day and the occasion, I perceive him here seated in a ochre robe, and I repeat as I hear from him. Daivadhinam jagat sarvam satyadhinam tu daivatvam tat satyam uttamadhinam uttamo paradevata. This means the whole world is governed by God, but God himself is under the influence of truth. This truth is further subjugated to good people, and therefore good people are greater than God himself. They are embodiments of divine love. Today, we are here to mark this occasion as a beginning of many good things that are to happen. This is just the very first step in the field of service to the society in Fiji and neighboring countries, but there is a long way to go, much distance to cover. Every long journey begins with the very first step. The first step in the right direction is all that it requires for us to undertake any journey. And step by step, as we keep walking, we are sure to reach our destination someday. no good that is done in the world will ever go waste. Whatever little good we do, it comes back to us manifolds in the times of our need. Any good we do for others is like an insurance policy that comes to our rescue in the times of our need. And therefore, it is said, Kuru Punya Mahoratram, keep doing good day and night, day and night. This good is God. Even if you go by the spelling, G-O-O-D, good, and G-O-D, God. So every good has God in it. And therefore, what you are doing is not just good work, it is God's work that is being done. In whatever name, in whatever faith, in whatever way, as long as we serve the fellow human beings, we are serving God Himself. And with this attitude, we must continue doing this work. God does not need flowers and lamps and worships and prayers and hymns and praises. For even if we don't do all this, nothing changes for Him. But when we, in His name, serve a person who is suffering, that definitely pleases God. The great Vyasa, who composed the Vedas into 4 sections, he studied all the scriptures, the Vedas, the ancient texts, Puranas, and at the end of it, he gave his conclusion. Ashtadash Puraneshu Vyasasya Vachanadvayam Paropakaraya Punyaya Papaya Parapidanam. The essence of all the 18 Puranas can be described in just these 2 sentences. Paropakaraya Punyaya, to help others is merit. Papaya Parapidanam, to hurt others is sin. And therefore, as we enter the center, the first thing that we see on the board is love all, serve all. Loving our own people, serving our own people is very simple. Everybody does it without asking. But being able to love all, being able to serve all, without any discrimination, without any differences, with the same love and affection as we would do to ourselves, is what is needed. And that is the motto, that is the very theme on which this medical center should run. Already Srinivas has given his view about what it is to be. Dr. Kateva has promised what he would be doing here. So there is nothing much for me to say except for convey my blessings, that may your wishes and your promises be fulfilled. May all this come true in the time that I have given. For me, time is important. Every day, we save a life, we save a child, we save a family. So every day is important. Long ago, it was the similar case with Raipur Hospital. And with much effort, Srinivas, all by himself, almost alone, withstood all difficulties, obstacles, to start the very first dedicated pediatric cardiac hospital in the middle of nowhere in Chhattisgarh. Not many believed him, and many even thought that he has lost his mind, that he has embarked on something as big and grand as this, which is definitely going to get him into trouble sooner or later. But with great faith, he marched on. However, with tremendous efforts also, it was running short of time. And he asked me, Swami, can we postpone the inauguration to another date? I told him, if it was your child waiting to be operated, and you were to be told that the operation cannot be performed because the hospital is not ready, how would you feel? He understood in a moment that this is Swami's heart. His heart feels for the mother who is suffering when she sees the child suffer. And therefore, Swami has no time to wait. Whatever needs to be done has to be done the earliest possible. No delay is acceptable. And with the same courage and conviction, the team here started this medical center. It was a good experience for them because for once they realized that when they surrender to God and they are committed to God, their capacity becomes infinite. Their abilities expand. Their capabilities increase. And therefore, what otherwise needs more time to do gets done very fast. In the last 5 years itself, third hospital in India is on its way in Bombay. It is not possible unless you are selfless, unless you are surrendered. Only then things happen at this place. What you call as a miracle, I call it as surrender. If you surrender, miracles will ensue. Daily, at every step, you will find a miracle happen. All you need is give up your selfishness and surrender to the will of God. Be ready to serve everyone with great love and affection because you are serving God Himself. God is not somewhere sitting in the high heaven watching us down here. He is there in every being. That is why the scriptures say, Deham Devalayam Prokto, Jivo Deva Sanatana. The body itself is the temple of God, and the indweller is God Himself. So all these are moving temples of God. In everyone resides the divine. With this great feeling that we must continue to do good, because in this good, doing good, we will find our God. With this feeling, with this conviction, with this surrender, we must make this an exemplary center. As he said, center for excellence. It should stand not only for the quantity of work that it is doing, but more importantly, the quality of work that it is doing in this area and region. All the services, there is a board over there. I told Sumit, a lot of boards you have put with many messages. But more than all these boards, there is one board in that corner that is the most important board to me. You can read it from here. All services provided at this medical center are free of cost. Free of cost. Some people ask me, why free of cost? I ask them, will a mother charge the child for serving breakfast in the morning, for giving bath, or for staying awake to look after its health? Will a father ever ask son to pay a fee for all the care that he takes? This is the way we must think. They are all our own people. They are not different. That child is our own child. That man is our own brother. That woman is our own sister. With this feeling, we must work. And there is the question of any charges or fees when we do it for our own self. Therefore, considering all as our own, our very own, our own brothers and sisters who are suffering, our own children who are in pain, with great feeling for them, considering them as our own, we must serve. And there is no question of charges. So all this, is it possible? Is it doable? Is it sustainable? One may ask these questions. Let me tell you, what you know of this world is very little. This world, governed by certain laws as prescribed by certain human beings, is very limited in its approach. The law of God is infinite. It is unlimited. When you go by the law of love, everything becomes infinite. For love knows no law, and law knows no love. God only knows love. He doesn't know any law. And therefore, when you do with love, God comes to you. God is by your side to do whatever you want to do. And He will provide everything. He will give you everything that you need to do your work. And you will never fall short of resources. Great surrender, with great feeling that all our own people, and we must work for their happiness, because that is what is merit. That is what will please God. That is what will make us happy. Let us work together. With one finger, one cannot achieve much. But when all fingers come together, it becomes a hand. And two hands come together, there is strength, and you can achieve anything. Let us all, though from different backgrounds, different professions, different countries and places, come together like the five fingers. And let's work together to relieve the people of Fiji and the neighboring countries of their sufferings. Now, we are going to train many doctors from Fiji and many other countries like Nigeria, Sri Lanka in our hospitals, and we will send them back to their countries, inspired and skilled enough to take up this task. For me, in 1 year from now, we must start all the cardiac screening works, and in another 6 months from then, once we have the number of cases ready, whom we have analyzed and diagnosed, and they're ready for surgery, we must start the surgery soon. So I'll visit next April to start the cardiac screening center here, and next November to start the first surgery. Let this not be negotiated. Umid, you can go ahead and book all the tickets if you want to, but I'm not going to change the dates. So go ahead. Dr. Ashish is there, he'll be in touch to guide on whatever can be done. Srinivas is there, he'll guide you. And then you prepare a good team, good set of dedicated doctors and professionals here. And let them be inspired to do their country's work, to serve their own people first. Let that inspiration drive them. It will all happen with time. As I said, many people in hundreds and thousands will come, not just for treatment, but to help this center. And you can only see one building, I can see the next one too. That will come up in a year's time. One wing will start off with the cardiac screening, other wings will get ready for the theaters, ICUs, step by step. My blessings are there on everyone in abundance. Let our life be a message of service, a message of love to our fellow beings. Let us lead our lives in a selfless way, in a way that will please the divine. With these words of benediction, I conclude the program. We are going to meet again after Prime Minister is back and he's going to come here too. But we may not find this much time to discuss all these things on that day. So I'm telling you everything today itself. And be sure that everything will happen, because more than anything else, God is with you. And there is nothing greater. You are good people, God is with you, and good and God together can achieve anything. So therefore, do not ever be afraid, or do not be ever disheartened, shy of what we have set out to achieve. It will happen. It will happen.
ओम जय जगदीश हरे, स्वामी सत्य साई हरे, भक्त जना संरक्षक, भक्त जना संरक्षक, पति महेश्वरा, ओम जय जगदीश हरे। शशिवदना श्रीकरा, सर्वा प्राणपते, स्वामी सर्वा प्राणपते, आश्रित कल्पलतिका, आश्रित कल्पलतिका, आपद बांधवा, ओम जय जगदीश हरे। मात पिता गुरुदेवं मरियन्तयु नीवे, स्वामी मरियन्तयु नीवे, नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथा, नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथा, नागेन्द्र शयना, ओम जय जगदीश हरे। ओंकार रूप ओजस्वियो साई महादेवा, सत्य साई महादेवा, मंगल आरती अंदुको, मंगल आरती अंदुको, मंदर गिरधारी, ओम जय जगदीश हरे। नारायण नारायण ओम सत्यनारायण नारायण नारायण ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्यनारायण नारायण ओम सत्यनारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा। नारायण नारायण ओम सत्यनारायण नारायण नारायण ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्यनारायण नारायण ओम सत्यनारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा। नारायण नारायण ओम सत्यनारायण नारायण नारायण ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्यनारायण नारायण ओम सत्यनारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा।